Yeah, it's working now.
Thanks, Craig. All right. Colorado State Week. Start with Coach and open it up for questions.
Okay, well, new week, new opportunity, shorter week, so we have to prepare ourselves a little bit less time and played a later game against Nevada, got back late, so guys have been in there working out, watching tape, we're back to a normal schedule. We just got to flip the script at the end of the week, and our Thursday turns into a Friday, and we get ourselves prepared for game day the next day. So kind of just a recap on the game, what we all thought. The turnovers, we were able to overcome that. I thought by scoring on defense, that was, you know, a key ingredient to overcoming those turnovers in the game. And really liked the way we played in the second half. Early on, the penalties, and we went back and looked at those, and it is what it is. You can question some of them, and we're not even going to go there at this point. But the second half, we played clean. Second half, we played physical. Second half, we came out and did things offensively that we wanted to do, and we were able to find a way to win at the end. And the drive in the fourth quarter, you go back and look at it, I think we had the ball for 13 minutes in that fourth quarter, right around there. So we were able to win the fourth quarter, which is something we've talked about since the beginning of the season. So to see that actually happen, that was improvement, and that was a positive thing for our team. Now, move on to the next challenge. Colorado State, we played these guys. We know what happened last year in that game, and we know how the game went and what we had to do to come back and win it. We know what type of team Colorado State is. Got a lot of respect for Coach Bobo and the way they play and the style of play. So, 1-0 mindset for us is really what it is. How do we get better? How do we improve on the things that we didn't do well last week? How do we continue to enhance some of the things that we are doing well? What players do we need to step up this week based off some injuries? And you guys know about the season-ending ones at this point. Tonight I'll get more of a report of where guys are. And usually for us, if guys haven't practiced by that Thursday practice, they usually won't play in the game at that point. So hopefully we get some of these guys that were banged up in the last one back. But that's where everybody is right now. If you look at the season, and I think Colorado State's got some guys that are injured as well or banged up. You know, everybody's like that around the country. So that's why you have depth. That's why you have opportunities for some other guys to come in and play. Perhaps those freshmen now, as you get to these kind of last few games, and you have those 4 games, where does that factor in? We talked about that, but again, they've got to be ready to play, and they got to go out there and help us win. So those are some of the things that as we move forward, they just become more options for us to be able to utilize our personnel. But with that, hey, we'll open it for questions.
Noticed on the depth chart you have Jalen Henderson as the backup. Is he your backup quarterback? And I guess tell us a little bit about what you've seen from him, because obviously we've talked a lot about Chase and Brett this year.
Yeah, yep. Coach Hill has no eligibility left, so we've exhausted that. Yes, Jalen Henderson is our backup quarterback, and with Chase being out, that's the next progression. Chase was our backup. Jalen was our third string. Now Jalen's our backup. Riley Smith is in the mix and has to get a few reps in there and keep himself game ready. I mean, that's just what you have to do at this point. It's unfortunate for Chase, and we all know what happened with him, and we'll get him back on the mend. But Jalen, like anybody else, the more reps he gets, the better he gets. And when you're that third string guy, I've been in that situation, you get your 2 or 3 reps in practice and you come in cold, it's hard to go out there and just stand out and do something spectacular. Now he has more reps, he's been more consistent. I thought he had a good week of practice last week. And how can we utilize him? We like that 2 quarterback at times. How do we get him in the mix? Last week, because of the timing of it, I think everybody was a little bit just, okay, we need to make sure that we stick with the plan that we have. Let's let Brett go out there and play and hopefully play well. And we don't have to put our other quarterback in. We're not going to do that. Let's just go into this game with that plan. Now, we know what the situation is. Now we can go back and plan and go, okay, how do we utilize Jalen? Maybe what are some of the packages? And the bottom line is, we're going out there, we're playing to win. So whatever we think we need to be successful offensively, we'll do it. And those guys want to play. Jalen certainly has waited his opportunity. It's unfortunate, for our team, but that's how it goes. When you're on guys get injured and you're on a team, you're going to get elevated, and when you do, take advantage of it. So he's done well. He prepares well. He knows what his role is now and what he has to do each week. He's got to prepare like the starter, and if he has to come in and play, then we continue on operating our offense in that game plan like we want to, hopefully.
You still had on the depth chart Quevedo and Preciado listed on the right side. What would you see from those other guys that came in for them, and how do you kind of see those two spots moving forward?
Yeah, I'll know more about Eric today. Eric's a tough guy. He's been out before. He usually comes back fairly quickly, so we'll see what his status is this week. John Ojukwu really, I don't know if it was anything with Preciado. John Ojukwu was practicing really well this last week, and so it's one of those times where we got to get this guy going. And in the game, I felt like it was time to get him going, to let him go out there and play, put him at right tackle, give him his shot, and he did some good things. So again, this week it'll be competitive with those guys. I think, with Eric and Isaiah Moore and whoever that other guard might be, there might be some different combinations that we use this week in practice, and that's okay. That's part of the O-line and figuring out what is the best five each and every week to go out there and put on the field. So no different, but I was happy for John, and he's a young guy that's getting an opportunity to play. I thought he played well. Preciado has been solid this year, and this week is another chance for both those guys to compete and get better.
I think I can say this without you getting upset. Last year, you guys were really bad on fourth down. This year, you're good on fourth down. What has been the difference, and how much of a sense, I don't want to say accomplishment, but you guys...
Want me to really answer that? What's the difference?
Yeah, what do you think? And
you know the answer to that. Yeah, we've actually executed it.
Actually got it.
Yeah, we actually got it.
But against Nevada, you twice went for it on fourth and more than 5, and got both of those. Well, what has been, I don't want to say the key, but how have you felt it maybe been a little different this year?
Yeah, that felt good to go for it on fourth down and to get them, obviously. But I think that was confidence in our players to get it done, and I certainly felt that way. But I think the emphasis, obviously, from last year, all we could have gone is up from where we were, and those guys, they wanted it. I think a lot of that comes down to, in a game, you just look over, they don't want to come off the field. They wanted it, they wanted to go execute, and they did that. Now, the first fourth down we scored on, excellent, quarterback read, great route, really good protection. Brett steps up, and it's as good as I've seen, and we score on it. Now, the last one, that was one to seal the game, and that's just a spectacular catch. It was a great throw. CT makes a spectacular catch, and we're able to move the chains, which at that time I felt like that's what we needed to do. And our players, we had really great confidence in them. They had a plan. They knew what they wanted to go to. Brett made an adjustment on that play, and they executed it. So to me, that gives us all more confidence to be able to do those things. Does that mean we're going to go out there and every fourth down we change our style and we never punt, we don't try to pin them? Because we did that too. There was opportunities midfield. We could have went for it. Let's go ahead and pin them back, let our defense play. If we can create some field position, that's worked in our favor at times. So I hope that continues. I hope we keep converting. I hope that we still put ourselves in a lot more manageable fourth downs than 4th and 8 and 4th and 6. And we're able to give ourselves a little bit more options on play selection of run pass when we do that. But proud of our guys, proud of our coaches. They've been preparing for it. They made it a point of emphasis so far. We've been better at it, but we just have to continue that. It's still a long season.
Still looking at those fourth downs, how do you go about communicating that? The first one maybe seemed a little less risky, but that second one, it took some serious guts to go for, I'd say. And also, CT was involved in all those, and right before that, he had a ball deflect off his hands and went for an interception. So he really kind of bounced back in a tough spot. Yeah,
isn't that the game? It's kind of it's like life, right? From 0 to hero and all those things. That's the game. You're gonna, and we believe in it. That's why we throw the ball at CT. The ball went through his hands, deflected, interception. Then he goes out and makes a touchdown on 4th down and makes a great grab on another 4th down. So what I love about that, obviously disappointed in the turnover, and that can be a major issue in a game. We got to try to not let that happen, but for a guy to be able to just bounce back and still come back and have the confidence to make those plays. Our guys in the sideline were great. They were a lot of energy. You know, negative things happened. They were right back to work on the sideline trying to figure it out. Nobody was over there sitting alone or pouting. They were ready to come back out and play, and I felt like that was more of the decision than anything, just their mental makeup throughout the game. They came to win, and we had to overcome quite a bit to get that done, but they were there to win the game, and that was certainly our mindset. And bottom line, we're playing Nevada there. We're not playing to not lose. We're playing to win, and to me, those are some of the things over time that you learn. And so the 4th down situation, let's go. If we're going to get it done, if we don't get it done, you know, everybody's on the same page. Defense is on the same page. I let them know we're going to go for it, so be ready. They're getting geared up. You know, that might be the spot. Their offense comes out. They've got to be prepared to play. So everybody's all in those situations. It's not anything other than this is what we're doing. Everybody get ready to play. We convert it. Awesome for our players. They executed it. They made the plays. It's more about players than plays in that situation. They got it done. So I think that's what 4th downs come down to. And the bottom line was we needed to make some plays. And we talked about that, and those guys did. So what we emphasized, they went out there and they executed it. And, you know, that was really, you know, we were really proud of our players because they put a lot of work in to make that happen, and then they got it done.
You mentioned last year's game. You know, what could you take from that, whether the rest of the last season, just moving forward with guys to be in a game where they're down 35-10, but know that it's possible to come back and win, and just maybe what that game did for the mental psyche, not only at that point, but something you can draw back to if you ever need to in the future.
Sure. No, we did. We used that quite a bit last season, you know, what we're capable of doing. And then just the one play, you know, you go back to that, and every coach says that, but let's just go make a play. One play can change the game. We have a big run, we score. You know, we have another little screen, and we score. And to me, I think what you take from that game, two things. One, starting fast is really important because you don't want to put yourself in that position. But second, coming out of halftime and just, hey guys, it doesn't matter. Really, the scoreboard at that point, it wasn't about that. I think we were too worried about that. I think we were too worried about that when we went into the game. You know, hey, we're going to go light this scoreboard up. Just all these things that don't really matter, like some of the penalties that we had, the celebrations, that we don't need to spend our time on that. We need to spend our time on just our performance and what we have to do on each play as an individual and then doing it together as a group. That's really what we came out of halftime. And guys, the leaders on the team at that time, Van Der Esch, said those guys were dialed into, this is what we need to do. It's one play, let's just focus on that. And then we just chipped away and got ourselves back into it. And really the point in that game, we threw the interception towards the end, because you see teams make this comeback, right? They're making this run, and you're like, no way. Everybody watches games, no way, they're gonna make, and then there's that turnover, it's like, there it was. There's that one dagger that just slowed the momentum. And that didn't happen. You know, we overcame that. We overcame it, we were able to get down there, tie it up, and then we won the game. And so to me, it was more about us than anything else. You know, not a disrespect to Colorado State, it was just about us going out there and just performing and playing the way we're capable of playing. And I thought we did that in the second half. So I take away from that, let's not try to go spot anybody that many points right away. Let's just go play. Let's go play, and let's execute the way we know how to. And if we do get down or we're in a bad situation, make sure you stay focused and into it, because the energy at the end of that game, everybody's off the sideline. We had great energy, and we found a way to get it done.
John Ojukwu, you go back to, I remember his days when he was a junior at Boise High, and you saw the potential, but you also saw how skinny he was. What have you been most impressed with in terms of his development since he got on campus?
Well, yeah, he put on quite a bit of weight in high school, so you know, he grew up, so to speak. John is very focused, very determined. He is a guy, when you coach him, He's going to do what he's asked to do because he's trying. He wants to be coach. He wants to perform better. He wants to try to do whatever technique, lift, execute a play better than what he just did if you're coaching him up. And he's a guy that wants to improve. So that's the fun part about John is John's out there and he wants to be coached and he accepts coaching. He continues to work in the weight room because he knows as an O-lineman he's still young. Strength is a factor. He continues to eat and do those things that he needs to do to stay stronger, or to get stronger, I should say. But it's just a matter of time where after so many reps in practice, you got to go out there and play. It's time to go against somebody else. You can only do pass rush during 7-on-7 with the O-line and D-line so many times until you get out there in a real game and get a chance to play. And it was just time. He practiced well last week. The reason why he got to play is because he performed in practice. So he earned that opportunity, and quite frankly, in the game, I felt like we needed to have a little bit of a change on that side, and it was his shot to go out there and get it done. Was he perfect? No. Is there a lot of work to do? Yes. But he went out there and played, and I would say this, John is internally motivated. I don't know if you see sometimes the emotion that he has, but he's really an emotional guy when he gets on the field. And I know for him, he had a whole lot of fun, and he enjoyed it. And this, as we get into practice this week, that's more motivation to do even a better job in practice to get back out there and have a chance to play. So I'm excited for that because I know what he wants to accomplish and how hard he's worked to get to where he is now.
Colorado State has had kind of an up and down season. They've had some really good wins and had a couple head scratching losses. So when they've been good, what have they done that's given most teams trouble? And when they've had trouble, what have they not been able to do?
Well, I think it's like everybody, they want to run the ball. They want to be able to run it. Turnovers have been factored. I think the keys to their success is everybody's. And the keys to why they've struggled is everybody's. If it's turnovers, it's not being able to run the ball. It's situational football, third downs, not converting, and moving the chains. Those have been some of the things that I've seen. If you're talking offensively, and those are the same struggles I've seen from every offense. We all say the same things. Defensively, you give up explosive plays. Teams are able to run it. I mean, I don't know if it's one thing in particular, Bob, to answer that. I think it's like everybody else. That's in some of those games they've won, they played well in those areas, and so have we. And some of those games that they've lost, they haven't, and the same with us. So, they're a good football team, and I go back to last year, and I know how they planned, and I know Coach Bobo, and he does a really good job on the offensive side, and they always have a good plan. They have a way to attack you, and they're going to do it multiple ways. They're going to tie it in. It's going to marry up, and you have to do a great job on the defensive side of tackling in the run game and then playing with great eyes in the back end. Defensively, I think those guys are very solid up front. Watching them and studying them a little bit today more. And they do a good job. They see the run game, so they've done fairly well against us. And when we run the ball, so we have to find ways to create some explosive plays in the run game. We have to protect, like we say every single week, and then whatever one-on-one battles we get, hopefully we can find them and we can win those. So I think a lot of it's the same each and every week. It's a matter of I'm not so much at this point going to talk about Colorado State as I am about us and the things that we have to do and how we have to get ourselves prepared this week and do it on a shorter week than normal and be ready to go out there and play. And there's no excuses for that. We know this game was coming on a Friday. We know what the schedule was going to be, so there's no excuses for that. We have a good plan as far as the organization of it. Now we have to just go out there and do it. And quite frankly, with our team, if we're focused, and that includes everybody, and all of the little ticky-tack things are not distractions, then I think we'll have a good week of practice and we'll be ready to play. If we don't, we control that ourselves. And so guys on this team, if they're into it, they're dialed in, we'll be fine. If they're not, then those become distractions and stuff that we have to overcome, and they just become focuses that we shouldn't have to worry about.
What have you seen from KJ Carter-Samuels? And also, did you recruit him a little bit here?
We did.
Okay, because I thought so.
Yeah.
I know Pete did. I wasn't sure if you did. So also I
Yeah.
guess a little bit of history with him.
Yeah, so we also I recruited Austin Carter-Samuels too, so his brother.
Yeah.
And yeah, KJ came here, he was on a visit, liked him. You know, I think I obviously thought and still do, I mean, he's a good player, he can throw it, he's fast, he's a strong kid. So, you know, the whole process of him now getting a chance to play against him. But yeah, we did. We were talking with him, and he was always good to us. He was fun to recruit, and you know, so these guys they surface at different places at times, and especially the quarterback position. We know how that goes. You know, we got guys, we got other guys playing all over the place, you know, and not guys we've had here, but also guys we recruited, and that's a good thing. It means we're on the right guys. So he's played well, and I haven't had the chance to study completely what they're doing offensively and how he's played, so I haven't put a whole lot of time into that. But I know what type of player he is. I know where he came from at Washington, so I know how he's coached. I know what he's been around, and you know that he's going to be a good player, you know, when he comes in here. And he's been a good player this year, so like everybody else this season, he's improving and getting better, and we get a chance to face him.
The obligatory question about season-ending injuries. Can you share anything on Summer Tony?
Yeah, it's not season-ending. I don't know. I'll know more today. And he obviously couldn't finish the game. You know, we'll see how he feels today. And you know, again, I don't know if he'll practice tomorrow, but if he's back on a Wednesday or a Thursday practice, you know, and what does that mean? You know, is he limited? I don't know that yet. You know, those guys, it's hard to say. It's hard to say where he's going to be at right now. I'll know more tonight when we get the report. But some of our guys that didn't play, they'll come out and they'll probably be in non-contact, and they'll have a chance to go out there and play, and we'll get a couple guys back. Happel was back. I think he played in 5 snaps the last game. So, you know, to have him back and in the mix, that's important. But, you know, if Louis can't go, then we've got other guys that can step up. I just don't know if that's going to be the case yet. And certainly these guys that have played, you know, they find ways to get themselves healthy, and our trainers do a great job throughout the week, and it's just a matter of if he's effective and can play and he can go out there and help us, then we'll have him ready. If he can't, then other guys will have to step up.
I was going to ask this, but it's kind of a fun one. Do you know Keaton, one of your equipment kit guys? Did you see the hurdle on the sideline where he fell at all?
Oh, yeah. We showed it. Yeah, we actually showed. So we showed that clip. I pulled out a few clips. You know, one was the interception by Horton, and we were talking about how spectacular that was, and really what a great job on that play. And this is, I mean, it's really a teach tape for a lot of defenses, in my opinion. We work really hard of coaching that, and our coaches do a great job. But all the guys down the field, Louis being one of them, Louis maintains a block for about 6 seconds, so he's been fully recruited to be an offensive guard. All right, and that was the talk in here. But yeah, we saw the sideline and then saw Keaton go airborne, and it didn't work out really well for him. So I'm not sure why he did that. I thought he could have stick and avoided, but he decided to go up and over and try to pull an Alexander Madison, and it just didn't go well.
But you'll have him this week for Colorado State?
You know what? I don't know that yet. Yeah, he might be out. I don't think it's season ending, so we're not going to talk about that, but I think he'll be okay.
On a more serious note, there was a play in that game where you guys go down, score. It's 24-17. Nevada comes back and scores to make it 24-all. And then on first down, Rip kind of slips out of a potential sack, and he hits Madison in the flat, and he turns it into a 9-yard gain. It definitely seems like that Rip has tried to do that a little bit more this year. And curious on your thoughts as him as a scrambler, and even in those 3rd and 1 situations. I mean, he's darn near 100% on going and getting those things this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he's done a good job on short yardage, and I think the checkdowns, that mentality, 2 things. One, that's dictated by coverage. They dropped 8, and so your checkdowns are usually your best options in that situation. He finds them. So I think he's got a better understanding when he sees the defense getting soft, the way they do and to find the checkdowns. And really, those guys, Madison's a really good option. You know, that's one thing. If we have a chance to get it to him in space, and we've done that a couple times now, we can go get the first down or get positive yards. And Brett does a good job moving around. He does. You know, when we have a chance to at least protect and give him some movement in the pocket where guys might have to force him to step up, he did a good job on that. The fourth down, it was great. Kind of the right side. They came off an edge. They came wide. Just a little slide, and it wasn't much. It might have been half a yard, maybe a yard. Sets his feet and throws it. I think he's worked really hard on that, and that's something in the offseason that he spent a lot of time on. But he's got a good feel. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's able to fill the pocket, and it showed up. And then getting to those checkdowns, too, knowing, hey, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever it is, and he finds them. Those have been positive plays for us.
I'm kind of curious with Octavius Evans. You just haven't quite seen him be able to get out there and play as much as maybe, you know, I know, is he just still trying to play through something, or what's kind of going on with him? And also with David Moa, I know his dad had said on social media that you guys had already applied for a medical. I don't know what the status of that is, but he is eligible, I think, for one under the new rule.
Yeah, I think he is as well. Some of that information, I mean, again, people ask me all the time, I don't control that. But yes, I mean, that's what we would like to do and what we'd like to have happen. So those things are all underway. I mean, I'm not necessarily sitting down and writing it myself, but those things are happening. That's why we have people in this building that can take care of those things. They think about that stuff and they prepare for it. As far as Octavius, you know, nothing. It's not that he's trying to still overcome something. It's just a matter of getting him in the rotation. And we've had him out there, and sometimes it just doesn't go his way. And it's not anything to do with him. We're trying to work him in, but you got other guys that have been getting reps and they're playing pretty well. So it's a little bit of each week, who do you pull back? Who do you take out? Who do you change the amount of reps they're getting in a week of practice? And, you know, sometimes when guys are playing well and you've got decent depth, you know, that's how things happen. So it's really nothing to do with him. He's prepared. I love Octavius. We all love him. He's going to have his time to shine. There's still a lot of football left. That's the one thing. And we're talking about right now, I mean, it's 6 games, so we got a lot more to play, and his time will come. And he's been working hard. The thing about Octavius, he's the most unselfish kid, and there's no complaining. I know he wants to play. I know he wants the ball. I know he wants all those things. I mean, that's the thing you love about him, but at the same time, he's going to do whatever you're asking him to do. And there's things in the game plan for him. We haven't got to him. And maybe this week we have some more opportunities early on that we can do that, get the ball in his hands, let him go play. So it's just kind of the way that it's happened so far.